Alrighty, guys, welcome to the charting session. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. Happy Sunday. Hopefully, everybody has been enjoying their weekend. I'm excited for this next week. Let's jump into the charts, talk about what we're looking at. Any trades that you guys took last week that we want to discuss as well, we can go over those. So, first thing I'm going to say going into this session, going into this week, is we are now at all-time highs. NQ has completely broke out of this previous structure that we've been in. A lot of the times when we're in a range, it's a lot easier to discuss and figure out where price wants to move. And ICT also said it himself. When we are at all-time highs, it is something that you have to be cautious about, because when we are at all-time highs, we have no structure to base any sort of bias off of. And a lot of the times it's going to be a waiting game of either playing internal structure or waiting for external draw to really get known to give us an understanding of where the market wants to go, right? Because a lot of the high quality opportunity we're going to get in the market is going to be when we have a good understanding of what the external draw is and aligning that with whatever the internal bias is. But when we're at all-time highs, again, looking at this chart here, we don't get any sort of bias of what we want to do, if we want to retrace, if we want to go higher. And this is where patience and discipline is going to come into play. So going into this next week, I'm going to say this in tonight's session. Our goal as traders is to recognize where we are in the market, recognizing market conditions, because this is the time where a lot of normal traders are going to come into the market completely expecting what they would normally expect, putting on normal size, putting on normal risk, not recognizing where the conditions are in the market, and they're going to end up getting hurt from those things. We want to be patient. We want to be disciplined. This is all about capital preservation when we're at these points in the market. So going into this week, what am I looking for? What can we possibly expect, right? Well, the number one thing is I want to see what we ended up doing last week and moving from here, right? We ended up reselling back down. We had a nice long setup here, all this low resistance liquidity, rebalanced, had that SMT, and we ended up running all the way to these highs. So now zooming back out, I want to figure out, is there any place that we might want to rebalance to, anywhere that we could possibly revisit before continuing higher, right? Because, of course, we're showing a lot of bullish momentum. My bias is going to be continually bullish until we show signs of we want to go lower, which we really haven't gotten any signs besides, times where we'll have a weekly sell-off like this, and then we'll check the breaker, right, and then figure from there. But until we get more structure, again, I can't tell you, and I can't have a strong bias of what we want to do. So when we're at a point of time like this in the market, the best thing you need to be doing as a trader is being patient and disciplined, because I guarantee you the people that come into the market this next week and the next possibly 2 weeks that are going in expecting the same things, our goal when we're coming in is to stay patient and have risk off. People are going to get hurt, and we're going to be sitting there with our hands behind our back saying, I'm just watching. There hasn't really been any sort of A-plus opportunity. And in the market as traders, you have to be able to have that level of patience and understanding, right? You are paid by your decisions. You are not paid by your time, right? So you have to be able to sit here and say, hey, we're at a point in the market where we're really are at an unknown point. We could really do anything here. So our goal is to sit, wait for that opportunity to show itself, right? Because we are opportunists. We're not here to be paid for our time. We're waiting for high quality opportunity. So zooming out to the weekly is the first thing I want to see. Any sort of imbalance here that I would want to see get formed. Again, weekly candle just ended up opening, depending on what happens next week, as well as if we'll see if this weekly imbalance ends up getting opened up or not. Going into this next week, again, I still expect this to most likely be another expansion candle to the upside. We had this recent move down, immediately followed by another candle, immediately followed by another candle. I'm expecting this to most likely continue, maybe possibly put in a top before reversing later this week, and then maybe seeing later. So going to the daily, again, we have this daily fair value gap. We're starting to opening up as well from the previous Monday. We have this daily fair value gap down here as well that I possibly want to see us revisit going into the week. I really don't see us coming back down here. Again, we absolutely can, but I most likely expect Monday, Tuesday to be pretty bullish, create more of a gap, and then come back down to equilibrium of whatever this range was. So we'll see if Monday ends up kind of having some more formation, but I'm pretty confident going into Monday and Tuesday that early next week, Monday, Tuesday, possibly even Wednesday, is we're going to see consolidation. We're going to see a lot of consolidation because we're going to need some structure to really show us what we want to do. So what I'm expecting is, again, what happens normally after a big move like this, right? When we see a move in the last Wednesday to Friday, pretty much, right? Wednesday to Friday, the market ran 800, 900 points. In 3 days, the market ran 900 points. What do you expect the market to do after that, right? After we get distribution, we always are expecting some sort of accumulative action. So again, me in my market experience of just looking at this chart, I don't expect us to either just dump or I don't expect us to just continue to pump. Most of the time, it's going to look something like this. We're going to slowly start to, lose that structure of kind of wanting to go higher. We'll kind of form something like this. maybe take internal buy side, and then start to maybe see a little bit more sell off, right? But I'm most likely expecting us to not to sit in a little range at these highs. So going into the early week, I'm being very patient. I'm going to be trading most likely half size, depending on what kind of structure we get. But I'm going to say Monday, Tuesday, we're being patient. We're going to have a lot of discipline, because a lot of the times after running, again, 900 points in 3 days, we're most likely going to expect to see some cumulative action. And then from there, once we have that accumulation, that is what we really need to base a bias off of, right? So we're waiting for accumulation. We're waiting for that internal structure. We're not forcing trades. We're being patient. We're letting the market really show us what we want to do. And then from there, when we have the structure to really base an idea off of, is when we can start to really execute. That's when we can start to really push the gas and be more offensive, right? But right now, we're at a defensive point in the market, right? As traders, our whole goal is to make sure that we are protecting our capital. We're not taking dumb opportunity. We're being patient. We're being disciplined. And at this point in time right now, our goal, defensive. Recognizing when to be defensive, when to be offensive. Right now, going into the first part of the week, mostly focused on defensive. In fact, I'm probably going to be more defensive this entire week. And I'm going to be one of the only traders in the space that are going to say that, because other traders are going to be, oh, we're going to make so much money this week. Let's get hyped, all this stuff. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is not going to be one of those weeks where we are going to see high quality opportunity. And I want everybody to be on the same page about that. I do not want you going into this week being over leveraged, trying to pass your funded super quick. I want everybody trading low size this week until we get enough structure to validate a bigger time frame bias, and then look for that intraday setup. But right now, after running 800 points, we're going to expect accumulation. Do not be shocked when we start seeing bad action this week. That's all I'm saying. So again, be prepared. That's pretty much my biggest thing in my bias that I wanted to talk about going into this next week. Let's take a look at the news real quick as well. There might be some stuff that might start to spike us up a little bit. Monday going into the morning, don't really have any news, so we have a no news Monday. No really news on Tuesday as well. Going into Wednesday, we have PMI. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Thursday, no news as well. And actually, no, Thursday we have unemployment claims, sorry. And then Friday we have PCE, right? So again, Monday, Tuesday, we have no news. No news Monday and Tuesday. So again, expecting to see slower action, consolidative, not efficient price action. A lot of the times, even if you see a good setup, possibly in the internal action, it's going to be kind of all over the place, very trappy, very choppy, not going to be efficient action. So again, trading our lower size going into the early days of this week. Any questions on that? Absolutely agree. I think the lower time frames is going to be the most important thing this week. And the reason I say that is because when I'm looking for a bigger time frame bias, my bigger time frame can be a 15-minute, right? My bigger time frame can be a 15-minute. So when we're looking at the 15-minute and on the 5-minute, I want to start to see us form some action up here. I want to start to see us form a bias, and then that's when we can zoom down to the 1-minute, the 5-minute, and start to figure out where those internal draws are, right? Because the market's going to continue to push. The algorithm is going to continue to run even intraday. When we see these lower time frames, we can use those smaller, the 5-minute, that 15-minute, the 30-minute to give us an understanding of where we want to go intraday, right? Even if we don't have an understanding of where the daily candle wants to expand to, we can still figure out where the intraday draw is, but we need that lower time frame structure still. So again, I completely agree. Going into Monday, Tuesday, I would say focused on the lower time frames until we get bigger time frame structure. For SD, if you go on NQ to the daily and start on Thursday the 26th, then pull it up to Tuesday the 24th, is that the correct placement? Just hit up perfectly. Let's take a look. So if I was to look at this and I was to draw SD from down here, I would put it right here, right? Which we just ended up breaking past. So I don't know if this is where you drew it, but this is where I would draw SD here. 26 and 24. 26. Yeah, that should be the same thing, yeah. And honestly, where we are in the market right now, I honestly would expect to see this. Again, we just broke out of all-time highs. Look at the way the market moves here, right? I really don't expect us to be bearish anytime soon, to be honest. I'm very, very bullish. Unless again, Black Swan event, world event, that's the only thing that's going to bring us down, in my opinion. I think we are going to continue to run higher. And I would not be worried about us going lower. I would continue to have a bullish bias going into the market the next couple months. but I really do expect us to just continue to run. So again, the way that we trade in a bullish market, right? The best high quality setups we're going to have in trading in a bullish market where we're just continually running is waiting for us to pull back on a bigger time frame and trading that model, right? I'm waiting for these bigger time frame imbalances, right? I'm using the daily to give me my bias, right? Where does the daily want our goal when we're trying to finding a daily bias is where does the daily candle want to expand to? Do we want to expand to rebalance price to equilibrium, rebalance to the inefficiency? And then from there, I know we most likely want to go higher. So the opportunity up here is going to be a lot less than the market in the opportunity down here. Why? Because the market's done what it's needed to do. We've rebalanced price. We're back to equilibrium of this previous range. From here is when I'm going to get a lot higher quality opportunity here. So at all-time highs, when we're up here, this is when you need to be risk off. This is when you need to be more patient, more disciplined. Wait for those bigger time frames to give us an understanding of what we want to do. ICT said he doesn't know where we will go, just like anyone else when we're at all-time highs, but he said you can usually expect a bullish run to a lot higher than you might expect it to. Absolutely, fully agree. I don't know how that'll affect the market though, Zane. Unicorn on the daily. I would not consider this a breaker here. No. I would want to see us come down to this order block though. Which honestly we probably won't. We probably will not come back down to this just because of how much we expanded through this. Which is why I'm expecting, again, these lower time frames to be most likely what we're looking for. So again, looking at the 4 hour, this is where I would be watching, is this order block here, aligned with this imbalance. I'd want to start to see, again, accumulation somewhere here, kind of start to work our way down. And then this is where we're kind of looking at for that manipulation, right? Any trades that you guys took last week that we want to review, we can go over some of those as well. Why isn't this a breaker? This right here. I wouldn't mark this as a breaker just because a lot of the times when I'm looking for a breaker has to be already existed in a model. In my opinion, for a high quality breaker, it has to be already in an existing model for a reason why we should bounce here. There's no really manipulation in this chart. This was just simply price rebalancing lower to then run higher. This, I wouldn't consider a market structure. Again, I want to see a breaker when we're having a change in the state of delivery or having a market structure shift. This is on a bigger time frame. This has no relationship to the model, so I wouldn't consider this a breaker. I would be looking at the lower time frames to figure out where we're going to bounce, or I would be looking at this imbalance here. Would you take an overnight trade like you did last week right now? No, not at all. I would not touch any overnight position. Exactly. If you're looking at a breaker as a pattern, you're just like, you might as well just be trading breakouts. It all has to do with context. Thoughts on this from Thursday? Would you take a setup in the night session? Let's take a look. Yeah, this looks clean. Again, relative equal lows down here, bigger time frame imbalance. Sell side down here swept. Internal manipulation, you get nice displacement up. Again, the first imbalance from here. Took a nice long targeting internal high, letting the rest go to the external. Looks great, brother. Looks clean. Close when NQ hit buy side was taken and formed an SMT thoughts. Again, I like the long. You got to recognize the SMT though, right? This is why we always say one of the biggest scaling points in what you should have is if there is an SMT, right? If you're taking a long on NQ and ES and NQ have the same draw and we're looking towards buy side, you have to take something off in your position if one or the other is taking that high beforehand, especially if you are targeting a draw that goes against whatever the external draw is, right? Now, if I'm bigger on like for example, if I'm bullish on the bigger time frame and I think we're going way up here, and then we have an SMT, it gives me a better understanding that this is more likely for this SMT to break. But if the draw is lower and we expect to possibly go lower, a lot of the time SMT, you should be taking a decent amount of your position off there. Thoughts on this? What time frame is this? 5 minute? I would want to see what your 1 minute entry is here. I would want to see what the 1 minute entry was here. But it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad, but I would want to see what you took it off of on the lower time frame. I want to see the break to the upside. I want to see the imbalance. Or did you just slap the 5 minute? Or did you just slap the 5 minute? If you slap the 5 minute, I don't like the trade. I talked a lot about it already, Mo. I'll update you guys more later on the one already. But I talked about it a lot before we started the session. Mr. Black, it's because there's no context. There's no context in relation to a model of reason why that should hold. Again, I need a little bit more context here, and the only reason I say that is because why are we targeting sell side here? I want to see, has buy side been taken? What's the external draw look like? What's the bigger time frame look like? Again, the internal model of what I'm looking at looks great. Internal model looks great. Hoping some form of buy side was taken here, maybe rejection of the bigger time frame imbalance, displacement, pull back to the imbalance. You got these internal highs that got stop rated as well, took the short, targeting sell side, looks great. But for me to give this a good quality, like a rating for this trade, would want to see what the bigger time frame looks like to see if they line up. Not for the night, boys. Catch y'all tomorrow morning. Let's play safe this week. Capital preservation comes before profit. Absolutely, James. Have a good one, brother. Yeah, this is the link to my charts if you guys want the same colors and stuff. Sorry, another off-topic question. Do I need to buy market data on TradeOvate or TradingView for real-time data changing from TD Ameritrade? Yes, you do. You need it on TradingView and on TradeOvate. Unless you're trading on a funded. But yes, you do need it on both. Actually, wait. If you connect your, I'm actually not sure. If you connect your TradeOvate to TradingView, does that connect your data? I'm actually not sure. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I pay both. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I pay for both. But I think if you're on a funded, you have the data with it. So sorry, not sure if you went over this, but I've never traded at all-time highs. So what would your advice be? Patience. Patience. Again, the number one thing that we need for our edge, right? Because again, you have to think logically here. What do I need? And then again, this all comes down to being able to think of trading as a business, being able to think of trading as you doing what you need to be doing. Right now, we are not at a point in position where we have the opportunity that we would normally want to see, right? Because for us to trade as traders and for our edge, we need structure, right? Structure is what we need. Without having structure, we can't form a bias, which means we can't have conviction in that bias, which means we can't take high quality trades, okay? So when we're at all-time highs, the biggest thing that you need to have is patience needs to be your number one priority, capital preservation. When we're at all-time highs and we're looking at this market right now, at the top, we have no idea what we're going to do here. We have no idea if we want to continue higher. We have no idea if we want to rebalance price. You have to wait for more structure to give you validation and to give you an understanding of what the draw on liquidity needs to be. So when we're at all-time highs, the biggest thing you need to be doing is being patient, having a focus on capital preservation, and just waiting for structure to give you a bias. Sorry for the stupid question, but how do you put TP and SL on TradingView in a trade where I'm already in? You right-click. So, like, for example, If I'm already in a trade, again, it's the exact same ways as of what you would do if you're not in a position, right? Let's say I'm in a long right here, right? I'm already in my long position and I want to sell at this high. I just right click, trade, sell, and I'll put a sell order there, right? And then it'll put a sell order for whatever my long contracts are. After 4 years of trading on and off, I passed my first account, and after being in the Discord for only 1 month, you understand of the concepts and ability to explain how important time is. Really helped me understand how not to become the liquidity. Thank you. That means a lot, brother. Again, I'm glad to see it. Again, continue to focus. Take it slow. I know everybody wants to get a payout. Trust me, it'll happen. Continue to focus on those habits. Continue to focus on that growth, and it'll happen, brother. Keep it up. If you have some time tonight, can you go over the model in a model setup, first drawn, then chart example for repetitive purposes? Thank you. If you have some time tonight, can you go over your model? I watch my videos on YouTube. It's exactly what you want to see is on the YouTube. It's all there. Trust me, brother. In fact, I have a whole video on that model and a lot of models, actually.
Becoming a
Again, this whole playlist on my YouTube, how to trade ICT, is
what?
I would say go through this. All my models are here. Most of them. Yes, it works for Forex as well. With us expecting NQ to have bad action this week, are you going to look elsewhere like gold or Forex? No. Why should I? Again, think about this psychologically. I'm at a position where I know markets at all-time highs. The people who are rushing the process, the people who don't have the patience, that don't have the level of discipline to sit and wait for the market to give them opportunity are the ones who are going to blow. The people who are going, if I can't do it here, I'll go somewhere else. Oh, if I can't do it here, I'll go somewhere else. Like, I know what makes me money. I know what makes me money because I've consistently made money with it. NQ and ES are my babies. That's the only thing I need to make money. Ask yourself if you really have the discipline to do so, because many of you don't. If you're looking at other things, again, that's fine. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to trade gold or look at some other things. That's totally fine. But for me personally, when I allow myself to do those things, it cheats on my discipline. It's just how I view it, and it diminishes the level of patience I have and the level of discipline I have, because the habits that I build in this kind of market are going to give me the opportunity to make a significant amount more money in the future when the opportunity presents itself. Again, exactly. Discipline is like a muscle. When you're able to sit in this market and know that you're not going to get high quality opportunity and continue to say, hey, coming into the market, what am I doing? What are the things I should be doing? Focusing on patience, focusing on discipline. I'm not expecting to see A+ setups, so I shouldn't be leveraged like I'm trading them, because we're at all-time highs. I need the structure to validate that, right? So going into the market, I'm going to be focusing on practicing those muscles, right? In any sort of market condition I am at, there's a focus that I need to be. Some markets, I need to be focused on offense, right? Taking advantage of high quality opportunity. Some parts of the market, I need to be focused on defensive, right? Practicing the habits of being patient, being disciplined, trading lower size, right? There's a point in the market where there's always an opportunity to grow, and that's just the way that you need to think about it. And when you're constantly focused on making money, you don't end up building those habits and those points in your career and in your trading capabilities that are going to push you to that next level. It's always going to be on and off. The reason, and that's the reason why you aren't successful, is because you haven't practiced and worked on the muscles enough, and you're all around game, right? Trading is like golf, right? People have great short game, great putting, great chipping capabilities, great driver, great long irons, right? But you can't be a great golfer unless you know and you work on all of those parts of your game. It's the same thing with trading. You have to be working on your defensive. You have to be working on your offensive. You have to be working on it. And it always changes, right? Because it's all what you're presented. The market is going to be times where it's presenting you opportunity. There's going to be times where it's not presenting you opportunity. And all of those times are going to be good opportunity to work on that part of your game, to work on the discipline, to work on that patience, right? Because that is what the market is telling me I need to work on right now. It's not the point in time in which I should be focusing on, passing an account, not the time in which I should be focusing on being aggressive, right? All of these things. The market is telling me on the points of times in which I need to focus on right now. And that's going to be capital preservation and defense. Did you tweet about the Black Swan event yesterday because you know something, or is that your assumption? It's just again, I got so many. It's so funny seeing everybody's reaction to that tweet. Um, it's just a theory. Like it's literally just me. I just had the talk with my dad the other night, and I was like, huh, that would be kind of like I feel like that is absolutely a possibility that might happen, and I tweeted it, and then people just took it way too seriously. But I absolutely think it's gonna happen, and I can't wait. If it does happen, I can't wait to go back to that tweet and be like, all the people that said that this would never happen. Yeah, it's still up. It's still up. FOMO is real. Thanks for keeping our head clear. Hard to miss the big moves. Thank you, brother. Of course, I got you guys. Again, in this community, we are focused on actually building good traders. We are focused on what you should be focused on. When you look at our community and then you look at the actual like matrix of what social media trading has come to, it's going to be the complete opposite of what we're trying to teach here and what I'm trying to teach here. And all of the people who are going to be focused on those things, which is, oh, let's get the Lamborghini, all this stuff, blah, 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 without actually focusing on what you need to be focusing on, you're going to constantly hold yourself back. You're going to constantly be in drawdown, constantly be wondering, well, why am I not successful? This is the 10th account I've blown, all this stuff. And it's because you're not focused on the right things. And my goal is to rewire your guys' brain to make you realize the things that you need to be focusing on. My advice are times like this: watch the charts with your broker closed and watch on the side and do some reading in context you want to brush up on. Tomorrow and Tuesday we'll gather internal, look for clues, just relax and gather. I fully agree. And also take the time to work on other things, right? Take the time to not stress about trading, right? Take the time to wait. Put some time into working on other things on the side. Maybe if you want to start making content or whatever, start a side. Yeah, work on other things, right? Take the time to work on other things. Again, work on your game, journal, maybe do some back testing, right? To other parts in the market. Look at the times where we were at all-time highs, right? Go back and say, hey, I'm at all-time highs. I've never really experienced this. Let me take some time this week, go back to when we were at all-time highs, right? The last time that we broke all-time highs, right? And let's say I look at this, right? Okay, what time did we break all-time highs? Wow, this is the point in time at which we were all-time highs. Okay, what did we do here? Wow, looking at the 4-hour. Look at the 4-hour here. We spent 8 days. Look at this action. Does this look like high-quality opportunity? No. Do some back testing. Figure out times and what we can possibly expect to see, right? Yeah, go to the gym. Be productive. I love that, Coop. Yeah, making recap videos of your own trades for accountability is great. Like, again, like the charting sessions or daily recaps I do of talking about, my trades, what I do, that helps me so much. I highly, highly recommend doing that for yourself, right? Like when I do my recaps, when I do the charting sessions and I get to record and talk to them, that helps me so much as a trader to grow because you're actually being able to sit down, say these things out loud, discuss these things, and being able to record that and then for you guys to look back on those things, highly, highly recommend is going to help you grow for sure. Do you think trading on demo this week would be fueling a bad habit, or should we practice sitting on our hands and not putting? No, not at all. I think that's a great thing to do. Again, if you can't trust yourself to do that, that is a good decision. I would say trade demo this week. Capital preservation is key. Again, focusing on just building conviction, testing ideas, testing theories again. But don't look at the market and trade this week is because some people will go into the market being like, hey, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to trade demo. And then they end up trading demo. They end up having a win on demo. And they're like, I could have made blah, 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 blah. And then they start actually, then they stop doing, and then they stop trading demo. And then they trade, their account the rest of the week and then they lose, right? So you have to be able to focus on what you need to be focusing on saying, hey, came into the market, traded what I needed to. I traded demo this week. Won some trades, lost some trades. I'm going to journal them like I normally would and continue to gain conviction for those things. Any tips on how to get your get out of a mental blockage? Just got out of a 5-year relationship and this shit got me wrecked mentally. First thing I'll say is it's not going to just be overnight. It's going to take a lot of time, especially 5-year relationship. It's going to take, I'm going to be straight up with you. It's going to be at least a year for you to get over that. Probably 2 years if I'm being honest. And I wouldn't rush trying to get through that process because if you end up rushing it, it's going to hold you back emotionally for long-term things. The next time another person comes around or the next thing you try to focus on is you're not going to be emotionally available because you've just continued to put that in the past and like try to like push it all the way down emotionally. And you never actually had the time to, accept your past and accept, your experiences. So take time. Take time to figure out, accept it, move on from it. Take the time and take, the fueled up anger or whatever and put that into something productive. Put that into trading, going to the gym, working on yourself, working on self-improvement. Best way to record my trades, I say just use OBS. Do you have any good methods to backtest? I use TradingView replay mode, but can only go back around 2 weeks. Going down to the 1 minute chart, would you suggest backtesting concepts like this or another platform would be better? I do the same thing. When I used to backtest a lot, I would just use TradingView. I know that there's some other things. Yeah, FX replay. I've never actually used FX replay. I would say try it out. Came in late. Did we already go over tomorrow's? Yeah, I did. Short little summary of the bias going into tomorrow is completely loose. I'm completely de-risked. We are at all-time highs. We can do literally anything. I'm expecting chop. Is it normal to be able to understand all these concepts but having trouble seeing them in the charts? Absolutely. Absolutely. It just means you don't have enough experience. That's all it is. Again, it's easy to see it in the past, right? It's easy in hindsight to recognize them. But the more that you actually see it form, actual live market experience of watching the market live, the more you see it happen, the more understanding and the more conviction you're going to have with recognizing it live. Bro, Blake, you're killing it, brother. You found a niche that I didn't even know was possible. I'm going to be honest. You are killing it, bro. You are absolutely killing it. Bro said, breaker block, breaker block. That shit is hilarious. Much love, brother. Much love. Yeah, all the trading comedy stuff that you guys have probably been seeing has probably been from Blake. Probably not tonight, Drew, but definitely tomorrow, later this week. Because I got some family to go entertain. Kevin Hart of trading. All right, guys. Any last questions for me tonight? Any last questions, concerns? Much love, guys. Much love. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Of course, of course. If you look at SPY with RSI, it's showing a strong bearish divergence, same as July 2023 high, 2022 high, COVID high before downfall. Just something to keep in your back pocket. Oh, okay. Again, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna be a black swan event this year that's gonna fuck us. So keep that in mind. What would you recommend someone do not trading? I find myself always wanting to get better, but sometimes I spend all my time looking at the charts and it does not work. Biggest thing, first thing, easiest thing, start going to the gym. Take some time out of your day, start going to the gym. And not only is this going to build, and the reason I say this, and the reason why a lot of people say this, and you're like, well, why does everybody say always go to the gym? There's many things that you get out of going to the gym. Number one, you are building discipline. Sometimes you wake up, you don't want to go to the gym. Go to the fucking gym. You're building that level of discipline, right? And that discipline is going to start to seep into other aspects of your life, which is going to be trading and other things, right? Number two, you're going to build a great level of health, right? Health is very important. You're going to become, a lot more built, more healthy. Number 3, it's going to build self-confidence, right? You're looking better, you're feeling better. You're going to have that level of confidence that's going to continue to grow as a person. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you for coming out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the session. Hopefully everybody had a great week. Sleep tight, get some rest. I will see you all tomorrow morning for live trading. I will see you all then. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Peace.